I'm 22 years old, and my roommates, who are both in their 20s and men of 3 months, have told me that I'm not allowed guests staying overnight, mostly men. So I've been living with my roommates for 3 months now. I knew them for about a year before moving in, and I thought they were pretty cool, but I don't know now. They've known each other for years, since high school. Anyway, in the first month I brought someone home from town, and he ended up staying the night. One of my roommates saw him leave in the morning, and he told the other one, and they kinda gave me shit for a while, but eventually they got over it, or so I thought. The next time I had a friend, who was a girl, stay over for the night, and we watched movies. I asked if I could have her over, and they both said that it's fine, but complained afterwards that we had made too much noise, and that they didn't want that friend over again, night or day, because she laughed too loudly. Well, she does, but banning someone from the house because of laughing? I said fine, whatever, and we've done movie nights at her place ever since. I've recently been seeing this guy though for about a month, and he's stayed over 3 times since then. The first night they thought that it was a one-night stand thing again, and they gave me shit. The second night they seemed kind of annoyed, and one of them said that we had been using the bathroom too much. His room is right next to it. I didn't think we had, but I said okay, but they didn't say that I couldn't bring him over again. The third night, they told me he wasn't allowed over again because it was their place and he used the bathroom too much and they could hear us having sex all night. We had sex once and it was in the morning, so I don't really know what they were hearing. Also, he only used the bathroom once, and I told him to be really quiet, and he was. But they said they don't want me bringing people over anymore, and that I can go to the person's house if I'm gonna keep doing it. I can get if it was like for safety, like if I was bringing random guys into the house, but for friends and a guy that I've been seeing? There's another flatmate who's a girl, who was always at her boyfriend's. But she was there one night and said that she didn't hear anything, and she is right next to my room. So I think they may be making shit up. They bring guys over and play Xbox till like 3 in the morning, and their friends pass out on the couch. I'm getting pretty annoyed with all the hypocrisy. I would move, but I can't afford to move out right now or live on my own. But are they being reasonable? Am I being a bad roommate? I was way worse with my other flatmate. I brought home guys all the time, and no one ever complained. How can I go about making them more okay with me having people over? Or do I just have to deal with it? In the comments, SaveMeBarry67 says, "You haven't really given enough info to say for sure, but I'm gonna guess that it's jealousy. They just gave you shit at first because that's what guys do when they're mildly jealous sometimes. I've felt for a long time that slut-shaming is often rooted in jealousy. But then you started bringing the same guy around, so they ramped it up. Obviously, they don't follow their own rule, so you don't have to either. You could tell them that you'll stop having people over when they do, but that might start a feud of some sort. I would just tell them to mind their own business. I totally understand that confrontations like this are extremely uncomfortable, but if you want any chance of them getting to stop their bullshit, you'll have to persevere." OP replies, "I don't think it's jealousy. We knew each other beforehand, and neither of them have ever indicated any interest like that before. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep doing it, and if they say anything, just point out that they bring people over, and it's my place too. I wasn't sure if it was a standard thing, since I've only lived with one other group of roommates." HX Cheo replies to OP, "I think perhaps you're confusing jealousy with envy. It may not come from a place of desire. It could simply be a case of not wanting anyone else to have what they can't." I'm inclined to agree with the parent comment on this one. The only reason in my mind that an adult male gets uncomfortable when an adult female he knows is sexually active is jealousy. Seeing your beau leave in the morning is probably triggering them. Could also be an alpha thing. It's their house, no unfamiliar men on their turf, etc. You keep doing you, girl. OP replies, "Haha, maybe actually. Neither of them have brought anyone home, so it could be that. Not my problem though. All these comments have got me just waiting for them to say something now." Sissy Jones says, "Go by whatever the lease says. You pay to live there just like they do. As long as none of the people you invite over decide to move in suddenly, you're fine." OP replies, Nothing about it in the lease, but since I have to live with them for at least a couple more months, do I just say that I'm gonna keep doing it and deal with it? Or is there some way that I can do it so they don't get pissed off? Sissy Jones replies, how about you stop bringing people over when they stop playing video games until 3 and having friends crash on the couch? Sound like a good compromise? It won't to them because they're hypocrites who think they can bully you. Pro tip, don't let them. They are being unreasonable and you know it. The lease doesn't say shit and your guests aren't staying for more than one night. If they try to go to the landlord, have your female roommate back you up. You're paying to live in a space, so you have the right to enjoy it in a reasonable manner. These are the moments that either make you a doormat or give you a spine of steel. OP says, I really don't mind the video games since I'm usually awake anyway, but if I had been trying to sleep, it would definitely keep me up. I'll bring this up if I have them over again and they say something. I usually don't like confrontation, but I really don't like the idea of not being able to do what I like in my own home, so just gotta bite the bullet and do it. Thanks. BoredBoy33 replies to OP, it's not about what you mind or are okay with putting up with. Fair is fair, and they are being hypocritical jerks. Do what you want, just don't be an asshole about it. And if they give you shit, tell them that they invite people over and you're just doing what they are doing as a roommate that is paying rent to live there. OP says, will do. I'm really glad people don't think that I'm being unreasonable though. Thanks for the advice. This is an appropriate situation for the term gaslighting. Can we please just agree with that? The roommates are doing something hypocritical and they are going against OP's version of reality because it is okay for them to have roommates over, but not okay for OP. And they're saying that OP is the crazy asshole one for doing so. I think that fits the bill for gaslighting, guys. Oh, you're crazy for thinking you can have this guy over more than 2 times. Huh. Not in this reality, buddy. I don't know, maybe I'm gaslighting myself. Regardless, it's sad that OP has convinced themselves that OP's actions here are inconsiderate and unacceptable. These bullies that she lives with have been so effective at breaking her down that she recognizes that there is an obvious double standard here, but still thinks that she is in the wrong and needs so much backup. And I applaud her for going to get that backup, for getting a second opinion. Absolutely, that's what Reddit is here for. But it's just sad that they're able to beat her down so much like this. They are terrible, jealous people. To me, I don't think there really is any other place that these actions and words from these men could come from if not from jealousy. They sound insufferable and I'd be wanting to move out as soon as I can personally. But yeah, for now, stick up for yourself and lay down those boundaries and make sure that you can keep having your boyfriend over, OP. Don't let them get away with stomping all over you. And now, onto the update. I honestly cannot believe how quickly things escalated, and I'm sorry for not updating sooner, but I've been ridiculously stressed and busy with what happened. So following the advice posted, I continued bringing over my now boyfriend and ignoring them if they bitched about it. Things came to a huge head last weekend, and I've spent the last week dealing with the fallout. Last Saturday, he came over, and we were going to have an early night so we could do some hiking in the morning. The roommates were drinking with their friends playing Xbox, making loads of noise, so I went out and asked if they could keep it down. I honestly thought they were fine, and me and him were able to sleep until about 4 a.m. when one of them burst into our room with an effing baseball bat and started smashing shit. Oh, they're crazy. Hello? Bring police? He was screaming about how I had embarrassed him in front of his friends when I didn't have the decency to shut up, calling me a slut and a whore. I thought he was going to kill me, but my boyfriend jumped up and started trying to restrain him. The other roommate ran in and started helping. My boyfriend got smacked in the nose, and blood was running everywhere. I was on the phone with the police by this point. They came and he was arrested. My boyfriend had to go to the hospital. Tim had broken his nose, and about $350 worth of damage was done to my belongings. The other roommate has not stopped apologizing to me non-stop about how he didn't realize that the crazy roommate was that bad, and he was just trying to back up an old friend, but he said my boyfriend is welcome anytime. Me and my boyfriend both have a restraining order against crazy roommates, and the police came with him as he moved out all his shit. And we've gotten the locks changed. I'm still looking at moving out as soon as possible, and am staying most nights at my boyfriend's. I'm struggling to sleep because I'm sure someone is going to burst into the room. I can't believe I could misjudge someone so much. In the comments, a deleted commenter says, "Don't blame yourself for misjudging your former roommate. I don't think anyone could have seen that coming." Seeing your other roommate also seemed quite shocked, you're probably right. Yeah, especially since the other roommate had known the guy for a long time. He was 100% into her, in addition to being a nutjob. Reading that was terrifying, because at one point I was at my high school boyfriend's house with several of our mutual friends, all playing video games, and he took me upstairs and shredded me about embarrassing him in front of his friends because one of our mutual friends had a stiff neck and I rubbed it. Like literally so platonic. Guess who turned out to be a jealous, abusive shit? Oh, that dude definitely had a thing for her. Christ, I hope she never had to see him again. Absolutely. Crazy roommate dude was laying on the rules and complaints on her in an attempt to control her, forgetting that she also pays rent. Then he tells some fib about him and OP to his friends, and then loses the remaining marbles in his head when OP brings her boyfriend with her. He sounds like he should still be supervised by his family after that. Just another one of these precautionary tales to put out in the world to be like, hey, if you have roommates that start acting like this, here is a potential scenario that can go down. All this subtle controlling behavior where they start restricting things, and you pushing back against it and having a spine, can lead to some people losing what is left of their marbles and smashing shit in your room with a baseball bat. What a fun world we live in. I just love that that's a possibility, you know? I sign a rental agreement and who knows what fun kind of wacky adventure I'm signing up for when I live with people that I don't know. Or even in this instance, OP had known them for a year. She still had a fun wacky adventure. That's crazy. I hope he stays well away from her after all of this. A restraining order is definitely the first step to that. Thank you for the story, OP. I genuinely hope you stay safe after this. All the best. Our next post is by user ThrowRA Halloween Dread, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole for telling my mum that it wasn't cute or funny to dress me as a hot dog instead of a princess?" So there's this new Target commercial going around where a little girl dresses as a hot dog, and it came on while my family was watching a scary movie. I, 20 female, am home from college for the weekend and brought my boyfriend. And my mother, 57 female, decided that it would be hilarious to mention that she had made me a hot dog costume as a kid, except, in the way that she was telling the story, she framed it like it was my request. She said that all the girls wanted to be Disney princesses, but that I had asked to be a hot dog, and so she had gone out of her way to make me that costume. This is not what happened, and I said as much. What actually happened is that I wanted to be Snow White and had told everyone, including the teachers, that I was going to be Snow White. I was obsessed with that movie as a kid, to the point where I would actually get invested in doing chores because I was cleaning up just like Snow White. My dad and I would watch that movie all the time, and I was very excited to be Snow White for Halloween, especially because my ballet studio was doing a special princess dance for Halloween, and we had all signed up for special princess slots. And I'd shown up early with my dad the week before so that I could get to be Snow White. Oh boy, I love a bit of childhood trauma early in the morning. My mother decided that she wanted to be quirky, and that Snow White was a bad role model after I got in trouble for trying to cook dinner for my family. I was about 8, and I tried to make hot dogs like how she made food for the dwarves in the movies, and I made a mess. My mum surprised me on the day with this crappy hot dog suit, and told me that if I didn't wear it, she'd never let me watch Snow White ever again. She took a million pictures, the other girls teased me for months, and it was one of the most humiliating moments of my childhood. I told the real story and mentioned that I got through the day by pretending that she was the evil queen making me dress in rags, but that the rags happened to be a garbage meat costume. She got really quiet after that, and after we left, my brother says that she was crying and looking at the pictures from that Halloween. I didn't want to make my mum cry, but it's a shitty memory for me, and it felt like she was trying to humiliate me all over again in front of my boyfriend. In the comments, not the asshole. Wow. What a shit move by your mum and to an 8-year-old. I'm glad you told the truth and stood up for yourself. I hope she learns. Jeez, what a witch. I'm sorry that happened. And OP says, I hadn't thought about it in ages until I saw that commercial, honestly. I'd say let it go, but that would be so hypocritical of me. Instead, make peace with your hot dog costume, but remember your mum for whitewashing the memory. My mum has a version of my childhood that did not happen, at all. In my mum's version, it was all snowflakes, hugs, puppies, and unicorns, and that's not the reality that I lived. I've since let it go as that's what she needs to remember, and that's okay. It's not reality, but it's okay that she wants to remember it that way. It doesn't change what really happened, and if she needs to remember it that way, that's fine. I don't let it impact me. That said, I do get the absolute outrage for that's fucking not what happened. I just shrug and let it go because I decided that I don't care. And OP says, in my mum's version, I hated the other girls in town as much as she hated the other women and wanted to be a weird kid because she wanted to be a weird mum who doesn't like housework or makeup or dresses. I learned makeup from a friend's mum. I learned basic house skills from YouTube, and I never had clothes that I actually liked unless I asked non-her relatives for them for Christmas or my birthday. It sucked. To a deleted commenter, OP says, it was honestly one of the worst memories of my childhood, which I'm well aware means that I had a pretty good childhood overall. It just still makes me feel like I'm this gross waddling thing that can never be pretty or delicate or worthy when I think about it. Like I'm just gross and forced to watch everyone else be special and lovely. Not the asshole. She clearly had a different perspective and you set her straight. Just because someone cries doesn't mean they're the victim in this. Especially if the truth is that not only did you not want to wear the hot dog, but she threatened your favorite movie as a result. OP says she hated Snow White and Cinderella and Aurora. She was kind of okay with Belle and really pushed Mulan and Merida on me, but those weren't the ones that I was interested in. She generally hated everything that I liked and was really into the whole Cinderella ate my daughter thing. She wanted us to be allies against the other mums of the town that we lived in, and I just wanted her to be like the other mums, honestly, because they were nicer. That's such an odd thing to put onto a child. I wonder if this is but one of many stories where she tried to mold you a certain way and completely disregarded your own feelings. OP says, she wanted a different kind of kid than I was. It got a little better once I hit high school and she turned her focus on my brother and finally let me try out for cheerleading instead of basketball. But middle school and before, she was constantly trying to mold me into some kind of counterculture girl who she could say was so much smarter and better than the other girls. It made it hard to make friends, and once I had those friends, it felt like she was sabotaging it constantly because she thought that they were beneath me for having the same interests that I had. What was her deal with the other mums? Did they reject her or did she just look down on them for some reason? It's gross that she made her issues your issues too. Not the asshole. OP says, apparently she was bullied a lot in school or something and wanted me to grow up daring to be different or something. Not the asshole, OP, but keep this lesson in mind with your own kids. And OP says, when I have daughters, they're actually going to be raised like women and princesses and things that are nice and made for them. I'm not about to pull that sort of thing with my own kids. I get why OP was downvoted for that last comment because it's like, okay, OP, learn the lesson, don't put your kids into a box. And OP's immediate response is, when I have daughters, I'm going to put them in a box. They're going to be raised like women and princesses. I get that, but I feel like there's a bit more nuance to it because they said, I'm going to do things that are nice and made for them. I'm not about to pull that own thing with my own kids. That to me says she knows not to put the kids in a box. If she has some childhood trauma from some of the things that happened in her childhood, she knows better. Like, come on, I don't think she's going to repeat the cycle. I'll be honest, I just deleted a 3-minute rant about my disdain for OP's mother. I don't know, sometimes I overshare, I get too emotional. It is what it is. I'm a passionate kind of guy. Like, can you blame me for being passionate? This is what I do for a living. I will say, I hate it when people whitewash your traumas. I really hate when that happens because they just choose to forget about the effects that their actions had on you and they don't face consequences for that. I am always going to be a big fan of actions having consequences because in this instance, the axe forgets, but the tree remembers. I think that's very reminiscent of what is going on in this situation. I don't blame OP for feeling the way they feel. In fact, I support what they have done in this instance and how they reacted to their mother's whitewashing of the situation. Now from here, I think you talk to each other, you have more conversations, and you find a place of reconciliation together and, mutual understanding. Your mother doesn't sound like an inherently bad person. She just sounds like she's built different. Everyone's built different, but she sounds like she was built vastly different to you. Nothing wrong with that. You can still have an amicable and positive relationship with her. So you're not the asshole, and I think, there is the possibility for a happy ending here. And now, on to the update. Hi everyone. First off, I wanted to give a big thank you to all the people who reached out with kindness back in October. I was struggling a lot with whether I'd done the right thing, and getting such an overwhelming consensus definitely helped me feel better. There wasn't actually that much fallout from the whole situation, and I kind of forgot about it for a few months. My mum was a little awkward for the next few times we saw each other, but that was all back to normal by Christmas. It didn't destroy our relationship, and I realized that a lot of my fears were just anxiety and overthinking clouding my mind. My brother made a few snide remarks, but I didn't get or give an apology, and I figured that was that. However, last weekend, my mum picked me up from work and took me to her place, saying that she had a surprise and I should shower and do my hair fancy. She had all the nicest skincare and hair stuff laid out, which means a lot because she's never been into that stuff. And when I was done, she surprised me with the most gorgeous snow white dress I've ever seen. It's genuinely stunning quality, and I couldn't believe that it was actually for me. She was all dressed up as the Wicked Queen too, with a cowl and everything, and she took me to see the new Snow White movie together. When I tell you I almost cried, I'm not exaggerating. It was one of the best days that I've ever had with her, and I felt like a legit princess. When little girls came up and asked for pictures, I swear I've never enjoyed anything that much. I might actually try and get a job as a party princess if I can swing it, just because of how great this experience was. After the movie, which, by the way, is better than most people are saying, I hated the new love interest, but Rachel killed it. She apologized for not taking my feelings into consideration when I was younger, and explained that she has always wanted me to feel like I could be anyone I wanted to be and didn't have to conform. But what she did ended up being a form of formed confirmation itself, and if I want to be a princess, she's gonna do her best to help me feel like the best princess in the world. She did explain that the hot dog costume wasn't meant to be a punishment. She honestly thought that I would think it was funny, but that she should never have gone that far without making sure I liked it, and she didn't actually ever intend to take Snow White away. I believe this. She seems truly apologetic, and I told her that she is 200% forgiven. So things are good. I'm glad that I spoke up when I did, and I think my mum and I are going to be closer now, honestly. She's a good person, and I'm really grateful to have a mother like her. Thank you. In the comments, "Aw, this is such a wholesome update. I'm genuinely happy for you. Honestly, it's so cute to see how your mum came through with the Snow White dress after all of that. Props to her for realizing where she went wrong and putting in the effort to make it up in such a sweet way. It's like the redemption arc that we all need. And wow, the way you've gone from hot dog costume trauma to actual princess vibes? I'm loving the glow up. Honestly, it sounds like you're going to be a top-tier party princess if you decide to go for it." And OP says, "I'm genuinely thinking about it." Yay to your mum. My goodness, she's done some work there thinking about all of that and planning how to apologize. She must love you very, very much. I'm so pleased that it worked out well. And OP says, she does. She isn't perfect, but she genuinely does try her best, and I love her for it. Having your mum be your first bully sucks, and I'm glad she realized her mistakes. You can be whoever you want, honey. Wait, not like that. Being a girly girl is just as valid as being bookish or a tomboy. Yikes. What sucks is OP seems kinda the same way. She commented about her daughter, if she had one, would be raised to be like a princess and things that are made for them. If her daughter ends up being a weird, quirky tomboy hot dog costume loving gal, I think OP would try to force her to be girly and princessy. Again, we're basing that off of one comment that she made. And I know that I am guilty of doing the same thing hundreds of times here. I get it, but in this situation, I feel like it's different. I don't understand how we can get this whole saga of OP being like, here are my childhood traumas. This really messed me up. I wasn't allowed to be the person I wanted to be when my mother, said that I can be whoever I want to be. I'm quirky, I'm different, but not in that way. And that messed me up. But then they see that one comment and they're like, oh, OP's no different. She hasn't learnt her lesson. It's very weird to me that people can see one sentence and read so much into it, but that is the internet, I guess. My vibes, my intuition, tell me that if and when OP has a daughter, she will not be repeating the same mistakes. I think this is a very good update. Thank you, OP, for coming back, and thank you, OP's mother, for seeing what you did wrong and making up for it in the best way possible. Our next post is by user SaltyPension300, and it's titled, Am I the asshole for trashing the gift my girlfriend got me? So me, 28 male, and my girlfriend, 30 female, have been together for 80 years, and we've been living together for 4 years. My girlfriend has always been the artsy type, and always has some personal project going on, but she has the tendency to get lost in her own world. We celebrated my birthday last weekend, and she ended up getting me a pencil lengthier. I don't use pencils, and the lengthier in question didn't even fit your typical number 2. It was purely for colored pencils. I also don't color. When she asked me if I liked it, I just quietly walked outside our home and tossed it in the trash. Why would you do that? Not even a discussion first? Not even like, babe, can we talk about this? What? She was understandably upset and called me an asshole for doing that, claiming that I could have at least tried it. Here's the thing. She's been doing things like this ever since we started living together. She's been gifting me things that she likes, and ultimately she ends up using them. For example, last year she got a packet of Sailor Moon stickers. I don't watch Sailor Moon, and she ended up using them all. She also gifted me a jewelry box one time. I don't wear jewelry, so guess who's been using it all this time? First world problems at its finest. Let's shift your perspective here, OP. Lack of her showing a care for you problems at its finest. That's what I'm seeing. So it's been a few days, and she's still upset, and has even gotten both of our parents to berate me for trashing the gift. She even admitted that she knew that I would hate it, and was planning on using it after I calmed down in a few days. A detail that she did share with others, but I'm still getting name-called. Am I really the asshole? Edit. Nearly every comment says we need to talk about this. The thing is, we have, and more than once. She admitted she does this because she wants something, but decides to gift it to me to say I tried. I asked if I gave her a wish list, would that help, and she said that she would never look at it, and well, she didn't when I made one and sent one to her. She, on the other hand, does have a wish list which I do get her stuff from, and some of that stuff is actually expensive. In the comments, everyone sucks here. Walking out and trashing it like a drama queen makes you an asshole. She's also an asshole for giving you stuff that she knows you won't use. You're meant to talk about your feelings and about your expectations, not act like you acted here. OP says, I wouldn't say I'm a drama queen. I didn't yell or scream or anything. I just had a disappointed look on my face, and she just pieced together what I had done. I literally didn't say anything during the ordeal. I promise I'm not beating on men, I promise, but OP's acting like, well, I don't act like how they act in RuPaul's Drag Race, so I'm not a drama queen, alright? I'm not the queen of drama. That's so funny to me. Everyone sucks here, but you should have directly talked to her about this way beforehand if it's something that you say she does constantly. OP says, "Actually, I have. We've had many talks about this. She does this on purpose because she wants a certain something and decides to gift it to me so she can say I tried." I've already read that, yada yada. Everyone sucks here. I have to ask, do you ever get her gifts? And OP says, "Yes, I do. I actually go over the top with her gifts. She wanted a Nintendo Switch, I got her a Switch, and she legit played it until she got carpal tunnel. Still uses the cast once in a while." Honestly, if you've been with this person for 8 years, and they still act like this and it's only just becoming a problem now, I really feel like this is not the only problem in your relationship. I would understand if this was like 6 months to 1 year into the relationship. You're still kind of vibing with this person. You're still figuring them out. No, you've nearly been with this woman for a decade, OP. She should know better. She has had time for her prefrontal cortex to develop. The mysteries of the universe have been unlocked, and suddenly I'm an adult now at the ripe old age of 25 years old when that develops. Wow. But this goes beyond just a few mistakes or an accidental slip-up. I think this is an impasse. To me, this seems to be like a core personality trait of her where, unfortunately, you might find you are fundamentally incompatible with this person. The idea of her in your head is more compatible than the reality that it lies in front of you. And you've been able to forgive it for so long and ignore it and move on from it. But resentment builds up over time. What she's doing here is incredibly selfish and self-centered. And she continues to do it. She continues to browbeat and say, "Oh, it's actually not that bad. I'm not actually going to get you anything on your wish list. I don't even care about you. I don't care about your wish list. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm not going to buy you anything because I don't care about getting anything for you." How do you see this person in front of you and say, yeah, this is someone that I want to stay in a relationship with for the long term because this is definitely something they're going to change? I'm going to say it again. You've been with this person for 8 years. This is how they've been that entire time. This is them. They're not going to change. And if they do, it's going to take so much work. And do you really think that she is willing to do that? Do you genuinely think she's willing to put in the work? I don't believe so. I think try everything with her to break through with her and be like, this needs to change so that we can be a functional couple and work together as a unit. But I believe in my heart of hearts that this relationship is not going to work out because of this. I think there's an everyone sucks here judgment for you trashing the gift like that. I think that was wrong of you to do it in that way. But I think if we're to assign blame to someone who has done wrong, or the most wrong in this instance, she has done so much worse than you have here. And now, onto the update. So I wasn't expecting this much attention. I want to thank everyone for commenting and giving advice. Sorry I couldn't get to you all. I wasn't expecting to make an update, but there's been a development. Before that, I want to address a few things. Many commenters said that my girlfriend is a narcissist or has some personality disorder. Probably should have mentioned this before, but she has ADHD, which she is medicated for, so she's always been pretty scatterbrained. However, it did get noticeably worse when we moved in together, such as blowing plans because she either forgot completely, or forgot the part where we agreed on them, or completely forgetting to do any errands or chores because she is just so invested into something, usually an art project. That doesn't change anything, actually. If anything, that makes her sound worse, OP. There was one comment that resonated with me that said that I must have been conditioned to accept this kind of behavior. That is inaccurate. My parents always instilled into me to be grateful and to be happy for getting anything at all because they got nothing when they were younger. If I got a sack of shit as a gift, I was expected to dance like a happy prospector if this at all explains my tolerant/doormat behavior. And now onto the update. Despite using a throwaway account, my girlfriend still found the post. She was very miffed by the responses and tried to vent to her friends, but they weren't on her side. She then decided to show the post to her and my siblings, and they wanted to know if it was true. And when confirmed, they all yelled at her, and they got our respective parents to calm down and stop talking about it. She came to me over the weekend, and after talking about it since then, We kinda worked over several things. She recognized that she really did screw up, and as an apology, she gave me this cool dragon diffuser that I've been wanting for a while, and a box of all the stuff that I was gifted, telling me that I may do whatever I please with them. She's also open to not receiving gifts for the next couple of special occasions, which I will be doing. So when it came down to her selfish gift giving, apparently what she meant by "I tried" was her forgetting about these occasions up until the last minute and not wanting to admit it. She hastily gets them off of Amazon from whatever shows up first on her homepage and just hopes that I'll like them enough to not say anything negatively, and she uses them when I won't. She refused to look at my wish list because gifts should be a surprise, but when I brought up her list, she had no answer. She said she will look at mine from now on. I don't think this is a deal breaker, but it does need to end, and well, most of you were right. There were other issues. We've agreed to therapy, single and couples, which she will pay for. This may not be what you were expecting, but I think it's a good start. And now onto the new updates. The first one, I broke up with my girlfriend of 8 years. I'm having a hard time processing it. So me and my girlfriend of 8 years split up about 2 weeks ago. We were having issues, see post history, and decided to go to therapy to work it out. After the very first session, I realized that I don't want to work on this relationship anymore. It was just much more trouble than it was worth. So I broke up with her. Lots of crying on her end, but she seemed to accept it. She has already moved out of our house and agreed that I may keep it since I have no family in our state. Things haven't exactly been well since then. Her parents, who have been divorced for a decade now, have turned 180 degrees and are begging me to take her back. Her dad even tried to bribe me to take her back. I refused and I blocked them, but they still find ways to circumvent that. My own parents have also done a 180 and are now supportive, but I don't want to talk to them. As for me, well, I've begun to drink a lot more. People always say to work on yourself after a relationship, like going to the gym or getting a new hobby, but I'm just not feeling it. All I want to do now is drink. Co-workers and even my boss noticed my sluggish behavior, but they shrugged it off as me working too hard. My boss even offered some time off, completely off the record. I'm not sure that I should accept it since I probably am just going to drink it away. Any advice on how to best move forward would be very appreciated. And now on to the latest update, titled, My ex sent me a bunch of presents to get back together. I'm keeping them. I can't believe I'm still using this throwaway, but yeah. I left my home today seeing a bunch of packages on my doorstep. I didn't have time to open them, so I tossed them inside and only opened them maybe an hour ago. They were all stuff from my wish list. At first I didn't know who sent them all, but then I checked a personal email that I don't normally use and realized that it was all from my ex. The email said, "Happy anniversary, Milovani." Google the translation. I'm guessing that she bought these in an attempt to get me back. It won't work. I didn't break up with her because of a present. I broke up with her because our relationship was very one-sided and she was so selfish. But you know what? I'm keeping them. Now I can be selfish. In the comments, Maru says, "Hey there, I've been following you since your Reddit post, and this is an amazing update. Also, I'd like to thank you as well. It's thanks to your post that I finally realized that my ex was and is a selfish, disrespecting asshole. He also did similar things to your ex. His birthday, I saved up for months and researched the things that he currently liked, needed, etc., etc. I would scheme to hide and make it exciting for him. Come my birthday, one time he told me that my gift hadn't arrived, and while we were having dinner, went to the nearby $5 shop and got me some random gift. I felt so guilty for not liking it. I kept chanting that it's the thought that counts. 2, another year, he bought me a Star Wars pencil case. The thing is, I had moved on from Star Wars like 3 years ago. I enjoyed different things. He didn't bother or care to know what I currently liked. 3. Another time, I asked him outright to get me this really pretty notebook that was on discount. He promised he would. When he handed me the gift, it was a Star Wars water tumbler that the cinema was selling as leftover stock. I asked about the notebook and he just said, "But you like Star Wars." Mind you, at this point, I had said I didn't like Star Wars anymore many times. I was in fact even more pissed off when the notebook I wanted wasn't on discount anymore and I had to pay full price for it. Sorry for the long comment, but I really would like to thank you for helping me wake up. We had broken up for 2 years, and I was still making excuses for him like, he's a good person, he's just busy, and stuff like that. No. He was a straight-up, selfish asshole. And OP replies, "Thank you for sharing. I'm sorry that your ex was a selfish asshole." Eerily similar. I started to pick up on my ex's selfishness when she gifted me a similar gift. She gave me a yellow Star Wars shirt, even though I am not a fan of Star Wars, and yellow is her favorite color, not mine. I'm glad that you picked up on it, and seemingly faster than I did with my former partner. Yeah, hopefully this helps other people pick up on warning signs that their partner is also a selfish dickhead. Because as you can see, from stories like this, it's so easy to forgive them and be like, maybe they're busy, maybe there's something else going on in their life. But no, I think if you're with them for 8 years like OP was, they are just a bad person. They are not the right match for you. And it's okay to be angry at that. It's okay to resent them for it because if they are not going to meaningfully change and things are not going to get better, like OP, it's okay to tap out. It's more than okay. If you recognize that you are not compatible, please just give yourself permission to tap out if you want to. Recognize that you don't have to be victim to the sunk cost fallacy. It's not worth it. It's not always worth it. Maybe sometimes it is, but not always. I would find it so hard not to resent my partner if they intentionally, habitually bought gifts for themselves and then was like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot. I messed up again. I guess your birthday gift is actually my birthday gift." But if you, OP, do not strictly follow their wish list and don't get them exactly what they asked for, they're gonna chuck the shits and be like, "What, you don't even care about me, do you? Oh, this wasn't exactly what I wanted. You're an asshole. This is the end of the world. Screw you." Yeah, recognize that that behavior is not normal. That is an unhealthy relationship dynamic and things need to change. Thank you for the story, OP. That was a lengthy one, but it was a good one. I appreciate you coming back and telling us how your life is going now. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.